Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Kraken Packs video. I am your host, MrBevers. We're here with a very special Kraken Packs series. We're going to do these a few packs at a time, and the reason being is that this is actually sort of a opening for one of my patrons. One of my patrons, Brad, graciously shipped this to me from his collection for something to open for the channel, just during this time of, uncertainty and unable to get out to LGSs to get product and stuff. So Brad has graciously given this to me to open for him. I will be, of course, shipping all of the cards from this box back to him. And we're going to open them. I've already talked with him. He wants it to basically be something that I can do for the channel to, just have something to open to show people and continue the channel going, basically. So I really appreciate it, Brad. Thank you so much. So we're going to open this up for Brad, and I'm going to send him the cards back. I'm going to keep it all until it's done. We're going to do 3 packs at a time. So let's get right into it. I mean, let's see what we can find, right? I mean, there's no going back now. The plastic is off. Of course, Brad, I will ship you the box as well back so that you have the nice Innistrad box for your packs. I will make sure that we keep this as well for you, for your in case you want it. And then let's get right into it, right? Shall we? I'm gonna stick this in this way. I think this should fit in here without getting too damaged. Yeah. If we do like that, yeah, perfect. That'll just be in there like that, so it's it won't get lost. And then we'll pull out 3 packs, and I'm going to pull out 3 packs at a time. Now I can put that in there like so. And we're just going to go ahead and put that off to the side like this. And let's get right into it. Now, of course, there are a whole bunch of things that we could be looking for in these packs. And if you're unfamiliar with Innistrad, it's probably one of my favorite sets. I sort of just started getting back into things around this time. And I wasn't playing super heavily, but I was playing a little bit, and the aesthetic of this, like the gothic motif, really like hit a spot with me that reminded me like of, high school and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know if there's any like commons or uncommons that we need to be looking out for. I know Invisible Stalker is about $1, or like a little less than $1. I think everything else is, in fact, yeah. Ghost Quarter is even under $1 now. It's like 66 cents. Mask of Avacyn is under $1 as well. A lot of these cards have come down in price. In fact, let's talk about this. Liliana from this set has come down quite substantially. She's only like, what, $50, $60 now? Snapcaster? That Snapcaster's come down. He was, what, a $60 card for a while there, maybe even higher, and then now it's down to $34. So definitely some major drops in prices and stuff, whether that's due to reprints or whether that's due to just the fact that people can't play right now in paper a lot as much as they used to. I have no idea. But obviously we're seeing a price drop in things. We'll see how it goes. But let's get into the first pack and see what we find. We're going to take it a little bit slower with the series too. We're going to showcase the art on most of the cards and that kind of stuff, just to sort of like give us something to look at and just gush over, right? So first up, we've got a gruesome deformity, right? You can see we've got someone looking into a bowl, a washing bowl there, it looks like a basin, and they can see all of the gross marks all over their face. So this is a 1 mana black enchantment aura that says enchanted creature has Intimidate. Intimidate is, of course, the ability that says it can't be blocked except by artifact creatures and or creatures that share a color with it. So in this case, if you were playing it in a black deck and you put it on a black creature, it can't be blocked except by artifact and or black creatures. Now, that being said, this doesn't require you to put it on a black creature because it is just black mana to cast this. So you can put it on any creature you want, and so on and so forth. We've got Grave Bramble there. And if you can't see, that is basically like a cemetery that's being overgrown by vines. Very cool aesthetic with the moon in the background. What we would call like a supermoon, I guess, at this point, just based on how big it is. But anyway, it's a 3/4 defender protection from zombies, which was very strong in this set and in this format just because there was a lot of zombies kicking around. Now, that being said, not super strong, but still decent. A 3-mana 3/4 is very good, as we're well aware with, you know, the Brontodon that's kicking around these days. Avacyn's Priest here, your typical 2-mana 1/2 tapper that taps things down. Pay a mana, tap it, tap target non-human creature. Strong in the right deck, for sure. Very good in limited. And you can see here the Avacyn mark there, so Priest of Avacyn, of course, right? Avacynian Priest. We've got Night Terrors, little sorcery, black, 3, 2 and 1 black. Target player reveals his or her hand. You choose a non-land card from it, exile that card. So basically like your typical, you know, hand control card. Very cool aesthetic here with the woman in bed and like the demon shadow being cast from essentially off screen here, but obviously coming from the fireplace that's there. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that art there does look very similar to another card from the set. I believe it's from this set anyway. It may be from one of the later sets. I can't remember. Anyway, we've got a Fortress Crab here, 4 mana, 1/6. Good old, just big old derpy crab defender. You can see in the background here, though, what's that right there? Little, like, brazier, I guess, or portal or something. Is there a face on that rock? It kind of looks like there's a face on that rock. Like glowing eyes and a glowing mouth there. Kind of looks like it. Don't know what that's all about, but there you go. Brain Weevil. Ah, yes, the Brain Weevil. Everyone's favorite. It's very reminiscent of Star Trek, right? The whole put the weird brain maggot thing into their ear and away you go, right? Oh, is that not the same? Not the same? They didn't steal it from that? Well, who knows? Anyway, we've got a 1/1 for 4 mana, 3 and a black, that says Intimidate, and it says sacrifice Brain Weevil, target player discards 2 cards. Activate this ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery. We've got the Night Revelers, good old vampires. There they are. These guys were, you know, emo vampires before it was sensationalized. Right? I think. I believe that's the case. So we've got a 4/4 for 5 that says Night Revelers has haste as long as an opponent controls a human. You can see there's like this guy in the background here is like looking at him all shifty. Like, well, there's goes those goth crowd again. Ranger's Guile. There it is. Target creature you control gets +1/+1 and gains hexproof until end of turn for 1 green. This card was very strong and is still very strong as an instant to play in any kind of deck that requires you to play multiple spells on turns. Interesting here is the hunter appears to have like some sort of like beasts tucked into her belt. It's kind of interesting. I've never really noticed that before. I guess they're like things that, you know, they hunted and or captured or whatever. But like, just to have them kind of like have their heads like tucked up under the belt seems a little weird to me. But, you know, what can you say? We've got a Silent Departure. Very nice. This card was a lot of fun. Return target creature to its owner's hand, but then it has flashback for 4, or for 5, I should say, 4 and 1. The main thing about this card was just that it was good because it only cost 1 to do so. It was a 1 mana bounce spell, essentially. And yeah, it's only sorcery speed, but sometimes that can make or break games, especially in limited. So, very good card. I enjoyed it. There's the Mask of Avacyn that we were talking about. So there's Mask of Avacyn. It's coming in about 60 cents, somewhere in that range right now. Used to be a bit more. Because, I mean, of course, it's a 2 mana equip it for 3, but it gives target creature +1/+2 and hexproof, which is very strong. Hexproof is always a strong ability. That's our first uncommon. Then our second uncommon is Rolling Temblor. And you've got what appears to be a dude being flung into an active volcano, I guess. Like, did that dude just pushed that other dude, right? That guy right there just pushed that guy. This is Sparta, I guess. Is that... It's not a kick, though. It's a push. So it's obviously not Sparta. Right? Skursdag Cultist. Ah, yes. Good old Skursdag Cultist. 2/2 for 4. Sacrifice a creature. Skursdag Cultist deals 2 damage to target creature or player. Big in Limited as well, because there were lots of things that made tokens and stuff that were made it easy for you to sacrifice them. And doing 2 damage to essentially creatures and players was very strong, and is still very strong. That's our third uncommon. So we've got our rare now. Our rare here is a Gutter Grime. Oof, look at that. 5 mana enchantment that says whenever a non-token creature you control dies, put a slime counter on Gutter Grime. Then put a green ooze creature token onto the battlefield with this creature's power and toughness are each equal to the number of slime counters on Gutter Grime. Well, there you go. So it's a way to basically recur your creatures that get murdered, or you sacrifice yourself to make more creatures to then, you know, make your board bigger. And the creatures get bigger every time you put another counter on this. So each time a creature dies, this gets bigger and poops out another little token. Pretty sweet, pretty sweet. And as you can see there, you got some nice, like, streets in the background, but then, of course, this is crawling into the gutter, which is where it likes to live, I guess. And that's our first rare. And then you've got, of course, an ad card. Ooh, look! Redeem this code in-game to earn the Sarah Avenger. Good luck. I would imagine that it is very expired at this point. But if you claimed it, congratulations. You are now the owner of Play Now for Free Magic the Gathering Tactics. I don't even know if that game still exists. I don't even know if that game still exists. It's on both sides of the card, so I'm gonna guess that it's not like it's not a code that is specific to that card. Then you've got your nice little checklist cards here, and then you have your flip card. This was the set where they first introduced these flip cards, and the major problem that a lot of people had was that this is the last card in the pack. So when you opened it, people didn't know that this was supposed to be known information to the table, so they were like, how do you hide this card on the back so that people don't see what I opened? Because this could be a rare or a mythic, my understanding, right? So how do you protect it from being shown, right, to the table? Then it came out, of course, that this is supposed to be known information, so it doesn't matter whether it's on the back or not. But you will notice in subsequent sets where they put the flip card, they didn't put it as the back card. They put essentially the checklist card either behind it or the land behind it, right? So there you have it. Anyway, we've got a Civilized Scholar, which says it's a 0/1 for 3 that says draw a card, then discard a card. If a creature card is discarded this way, untap Civilized Scholar, then transform it. And then it transforms into Homicidal Brute. Look at that guy. He's hulking out, but his clothes didn't stick around. Although I guess the pants stuck around. Like, there's the belt, right? This is how you know it's the same guy, right? The belt is the same. So there's the belt, right? You can see it on there, and then you can see it on here. See? It's the same belt. And it's still there. Right? And anyway, Homicidal Brute is a 5/1 that says at the beginning of your end step, if Homicidal Brute didn't attack this turn, untap Homicidal Brute, then transform it. So it goes back into a Civilized Scholar. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, basically. Right? That was the whole point of that card. Let's see what's in the next pack. It only took us 10 minutes to talk about the first pack, right? Kessig Wolf. Look at that one. It's a nice little 3/1. Kessig Wolf gains first strike until end of turn for 2 mana. Little bit of a worse fire breathing there. 3 mana 3/1. So it's basically like your Piker, or not your Piker, but whatever they call the 3 mana 3/1s, which I think exist, but I can't remember what they're called. Anyway, just your typical little wolf there. Fantastic art, though. I mean, the wolf looks amazing. Looks like the bestest boy, put it that way. Silver Chase Fox. A lot of you are probably familiar with this card because it did get a reprint in one of the master sets. It's a great little 2-drop. it's like it's a white 2/2 bear, but it has pay 2, sacrifice it, and exile target enchantment, which matters a lot, especially when Theros was coming with all those gods and stuff. So it mattered quite a bit. Very good card. Unruly Mob, little 1/1 angry townsfolk there. That so 1/1 for 2, but it says whenever another creature you control dies, put a 1/1 counter on Unruly Mob. This card can get out of hand real fast in the right deck. Limited was a lot of fun with that card, especially if you had the right cards to build around it. Skeletal Grimace is next. We've got a 2-mana enchant aura in black that says enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has pay 1 black, regenerate this creature. So it's just basically like a little pump with an ability to regenerate. And let's be honest, you don't want to see that. You don't want to see this anywhere near you. Even if it's just a mask, which I don't think it is. I think it's actually the face, like, peeling back if you look closely at the art, right? If you look closely at the art, it looks like the skin has been peeled back. Like, there's the lip, right, under the jawline, and then it kind of, like, gets, yeah, it doesn't, yeah, it's not great. It's not a thing that you want to see. Dream Twist, another great little blue card here from this set. 1-mana instant that says target player puts the top 3 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard, flashback for 2. This card is very good in mill decks of any kind. Very nice little one mana instant that mills 3 that can then be recurred for 2 mana to mill another 3. So it mills 6 for 3 mana. It's pretty strong. We've got a Moon Heron here. 4-mana flyer for 3, and it's a 3/2. Just your basic 3/2 flyer for 4. Right? That's all it is. But look at this art, though. Isn't that gorgeous? Absolutely gorgeous. I would have that on a playmat any day. Any day. Ghoulcaller's Bell. 1-mana artifact that says, tap it, each player puts the top card of his or her library into his or her graveyard. Seems good, seems decent. If you're playing the right archetype, this can be very good. Right? Especially for only 1 mana. We've got Infernal Plunge as our red mana card here. So it's pay 1 red, as an additional cost as an additional cost to cast Infernal Plunge, sacrifice a creature. Add 3 red to your mana pool. This gives you like a little boost of mana for 1 mana, sorcery speed, but you gotta sack a creature as well. But, I mean, if you've got 3 mana on the table or 4 mana on the table and you pay 1 and sack a creature, you now have access to 6 or 7 mana depending, right? So, you know, not too shabby. Not too shabby, right? If it's turn 3, right? If it's turn 3 and you have access to 5 mana, why not, right? You could end a game pretty quick in that situation. We've got another Ranger's Guile here. We saw this card in the last pack. Little 1-mana instant giving something +1/+1 and hexproof. We've got Desperate Ravings, another great little flashback card. 2-mana instant, draw 2 cards and discard a card at random. Flashback for 2 and a blue. Great little card, especially with Madness coming around. Madness was, I don't know if Madness was in this set, but it was definitely in a few sets with the... I think it might not have been the original Innistrad block, but Madness came back in the second Innistrad block, I believe. Is that correct? Maybe I'm incorrect. But anyway, that's our first uncommon. Our second uncommon here is Cellar Door, the most beautiful word in the English language, right? I think that's what people say about it, right? We've got a 2-mana artifact that says 3 and tap. Target player puts the bottom card of his or her library into his or her graveyard. If it's a creature card, you put a 2/2 black zombie creature token into the battlefield. I played this card in a zombie deck that was essentially the mill zombie deck, so it played the Alchemist, the zombie Alchemist card. I can't remember what the name of it is. It's the 4/2 blue zombie that's like if a zombie would deal damage, instead of dealing damage, it mills that many cards off your opponent. So I played it in that deck so that you could then make zombie tokens by milling them, but you mill them off the bottom, right? So... interesting. Anyway, we got a Gallows Warden here, a 5-mana 3/3 flyer that says other spirit creatures you control get +0/+1. Fantastic little card for your spirit deck. Lots of spirits in this format as well, so Definitely very good. Oh, well, okay. How about in the first 2 packs that we open a Snapcaster Mage? We'll take it, right? There you go, Brad. Congratulations. Little 2/1 human wizard for 1 and a blue. Flash. When Snapcaster Mage enters the battlefield, target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback until end of turn. The flashback cost is equal to its mana cost. You may cast that card from your graveyard for its flashback cost, then exile it. Very, very cool. That's pretty sweet. I mean, we'll take it, right? We'll take it. Not a bad little hit for the second pack from the box. We should just stop now, right, Brad? You just want all the packs back sealed and stop there. Got your value out of this box. Got yourself a little Snapcaster Mage. We've only opened 2 packs. Right? No, okay. We'll keep going. We've got a nice little vampire token here, which then means that... So there's your vampire token. I'll put that there with that. The tokens will be coming to you too, Brad, don't worry. You've got your checklist card and then your flip card here, which is a Reckless Waif, which is a 1 mana, 1/1 red human rogue werewolf that says at the beginning of each upkeep, if no spells were cast last turn, transform Reckless Waif, and Reckless Waif turns into a 3/2. So it's just a vanilla creature, right? It's just a 1/1 for 1 that turns into a 3/2. So can be a 3/2 for 1 mana. So very solid first turn play from any like red aggro deck, because you play this on turn 1 and then you play nothing on turn 2 and it flips into a 3/2, right? Very, very good. Especially if you play it on turn 1 and you're first and your opponent plays a land and plays nothing, it flips on your turn, which means you have a 3/2 on turn 2 and you can still play a card. Pretty good. Pretty good for the right aggro deck. Alright. Third pack for this video. And the video is already 20 minutes long, and that's because we're focusing on the art, folks. We're focusing on the cards, the art. We're going over all the cards. We're going to talk about them all. And so expect these videos to be a little bit longer, but the idea here is to just enjoy the cards for what they are. We're not here to look for value. We're here to enjoy Magic. Please enjoy the Magic with me, as I once enjoyed it before. And maybe you once enjoyed it before as well. We've got a Voiceless Spirit. It's a 2/1 flying first strike for 3, 2 and a white. And gorgeous art on this card as well. Definitely would take a playmat of that card too. Look at that. It's just gorgeous. All the lanterns hanging from the chains that are all like swinging around. Really cool looking. All right. Now we have a Victim of Night. I think this guy's going to need more than just a doctor. What do you think? Like, you can't tell him to go home and sleep it off, basically. Right? I don't think it's going to work. So Victim of Night is a 2 mana, black, instant that says destroy target non-zombie, non-werewolf, non-zombie creature. This person was basically just eviscerated. I believe you can see the guts on the wall behind, which is pretty weird, and then like all the blood kind of pouring out. And then this is interesting because that looks like a sword, but the hilt is the Avacyn logo, which is kind of cool. Neat. We've got Claustrophobia. So the question is do you think this person is in a coffin? Or do you think this person is like under a floorboard? Because these are like nails, right? But they're not really running like where they would on a coffin. You wouldn't see them, right? On a coffin, you wouldn't see the nails because they'd be nailed down the edge so that they go into the sides, right? Whereas this is like a cross, so it's almost like something's been stapled to the floor or something. And like this guy's like scraping at the floorboards, basically. It's like, hey, I'm under the floor, like let me out, right? That's what it looks like to me, but I don't know. Maybe I'm incorrect. 6 feet of earth muffled his cries, so I guess like he's in a box. But then why do you see the nails, right? Like you shouldn't see the nails if it's a box, right? I guess unless the idea here is that you're seeing like his face like pushed up against the side of the box here, which these nails are in, but because they've painted it this way, it's like you're not seeing the wood there. The wood is essentially like where the camera would be, so you can see like the nails stuck in. It's almost like a cross section, you know what I mean? Like they've just removed that wall off to show you what's inside, but the wall is actually still there. You just are seeing it from like an outside perspective. Maybe that's what it is, I don't know. But it's interesting that you can see the nails across, because then you wouldn't think it's in a box, like a coffin under the ground, right? But there you go. We've got a Thraben Purebloods. So it looks like some hounds right there. They're going to go hunting, maybe? Who knows? But it's a mono 3/5 for 4 and 1 white hound. Look like they have a pretty nice life there in front of the fire and the what have you. The chair looks really uncomfortable. I've never sat in one of these chairs before, but it looks very uncomfortable. Orchard Spirit. A 2/2 for 3. It says it can't be blocked except by creatures with flying or reach. So it's kind of like got a pseudo evasion because it's not flying, but it can only be blocked by things with flying or reach. So it can only essentially be blocked as though it's a flyer, but it doesn't have flying, which is interesting. Now it's a spirit, so you would think it has some kind of flying ability, but it doesn't. So it's pseudo flying, which is interesting. Kind of goes through branch to branch, I guess is the idea. Like, you know, kind of like a squirrel. This is basically a squirrel spirit, right? That's how that works. That's what we're going to say. We've got the Night Revelers again. Look at that. They're ready to party. They're ready to party. Ready to party. We've got a Spectral Flight. A cool little enchantment here for 2 mana that says enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has flying. That's all. Just a nice little enchantment. This card was great in this format in Limited, just because the buff it gives you is +2/+2 for 2. So it's like a bear, but it comes with flying. Not bad. Now, yes, it sets you up for a 2-for-1 because you put it on a creature and it can get removed and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, like, you stick it on a 2/2 that you played on turn 2, or like stick it on a, you know, a 3-drop that you played on turn 3, and then you play this on turn 4 for 2 mana and play something else for 2 mana. Like having, you know, like probably like a 3 power or 4 power flyer on turn 3, turn 4 is pretty good, right? It's pretty good. It's not too shabby. A Rotting Fen Snake. Now imagine this with Spectral Flight on it. You get a nice little 7/3 on turn 5. Right? A 7/3 flyer on turn 5. Again, this is just a mono 5/1, so it can die very easily to things, but it does have a lot of power going on. So there is that. And it's just gruesome. Like, you can see through its mouth out the back of its head. It's not in good shape, but it's still very dangerous. We've got a Caravan Vigil. So it's a 1-mana sorcery, green, 1 green mana. Search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your library. Morbid. So you may put that card onto the battlefield instead of putting it into your hand if a creature died this turn. So Morbid was something that they introduced in this set. That basically, it was essentially like a death trigger. If something had died this turn, then do an additional thing. That's basically what it means. So, very cool. Very cool. And then our first uncommon here is a Burning Vengeance. I love this card. I love this card because it says whenever you cast a spell from your graveyard, Burning Vengeance deals 2 damage to target creature or player. I loved building around this card when this set came out. In fact, I think I had like 2 or 3 decks that ran, 4 copies of this card each. And then just had shenanigans to like pull things back from the graveyard. This card is great. I love it. I had a lot of fun playing with this card because doing 2 damage to creatures when you flash things back can make or break games as well, especially when the things that you're flashing back are things that like bounce their other big things or whatever. So you basically clears the path for your creatures or whatever you've got going on. It's very nice. Our other uncommon here is a Mausoleum Guard. A 2/2 for 4 mana, 3 and a white, that says when Mausoleum Guard dies, put 2 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying onto the battlefield. So there you go, a little 2/2 for 4, but you get 2 1/1 flyers when it dies. So a nice little card to sack to something else, or just good in general, like as keeping it back as a blocker, like threatening essentially like, yeah, swing at me if you want, I'll block with this, get 2 1/1 flyers that I can swing back at you next turn. We've got a Lantern Spirit here for 3 mana, 2 and a blue. It's a 2/1 flyer that has pay 1 blue, return Lantern Spirit to its owner's hand. So there you go. they can't steal it, and you can bounce it back to your hand for 1 blue mana in case they try to kill it or something, you know? Lots of options. Lots of options. Or hell, I mean, if you've got 5 mana and nothing to do, you play this card, right? Or like you swing with it, hit them in the face for 2, bounce it to your hand, and replay it. Now you have a 2/1 Vigilance flying guy, right? Pseudo Vigilance. Not the best, but if you got nothing else going on. And then our rare here is a Falcon Wrath Marauder. Very cool card as well. You can see these are vampires that actually have wings. That is, in fact, a thing right there. So this is a 2/2 for 5 that says for 3 and a red, flying haste 2/2. It says whenever it deals combat damage to a player, put 2 1/1 counters on it. So you get 2 nice little 1/1 counters right there. Very, very good. This card does a lot of work late game, especially when they're not expecting it, because it comes in and it hits them in the face immediately, and it becomes a 4/4 flying creature that then gets bigger every time it hits them, and now it's at a point where it's a 4/4. They may not have an answer for it at that point, or a way to block it continually moving forward. So, very good card. Very, very good card in Limited. You got a nice little ad card there. Woo, ads. You got your checklist card, and then your flip card. Ooh, your flip card is a nice one. The Bloodline Keeper. This is a very good card as well. Again, another one of the top rares from the set. This is about $7. So there you go. Not too shabby. Pretty good on the first 3 packs out of this set, out of this box. But Bloodline Keeper is a 4 mana, 2 and a black, flying 3/3. However, the more important stuff here is tap and put a 2/2 black vampire creature token with flying onto the battlefield. Pay a black, transform Bloodline Keeper, activate this ability only if you control 5 or more vampires. So it comes out, it's a vampire. So you've got 1. Chances are you've probably got a couple more if you've built around this. So by the time you play it on turn 4 or turn 5, you have enough to essentially pay the black to flip it immediately. Right? That's the best part about this, is you play it on turn 4, you put it out, you play it on turn 5, I should say. You play it on turn 5, you pay the 4, you pay the 1, you flip it immediately. Provided you have enough other vampires. You basically have to have played a 1-drop, a 2-drop, a 3-drop, and a 4-drop. Play this on turn 5. Right? Now that's in the best case scenario. But even if you play this out on turn like 7 or 8, and you don't have enough vampires, being able to tap it to make vampires makes this card phenomenal. Because then you flip it, and now it's a 5/5 flyer that says other vampire creatures you control get +2/+2, and it still gets to keep its tap ability to add new vampires to the battlefield. So, not only is it making 2/2 vampire creatures with flying, but they get +2/+2, so really, this side of this card is making 4/4 flyers just by tapping itself. Very cool. Very, very cool. Nice little card there. So, there you have it, everybody. I hope you enjoyed a 30-minute video, 10 minutes per pack. Who knows? That will probably be the average for this series. I hope you enjoy it. I know it's a little bit more of me just kind of jibber-jabbering. It's not going to be for everybody. People are going to want to see the cards and, you know, have me go through it quick looking for the hits. That's not what this series is about. So if you're not going to want to watch this series for me being fast and getting to the hits as quickly as possible, go watch something else. That's all I can say, because you're not going to enjoy this. If you're here for the art, you're going to love it, because we're going to showcase it. We're going to show it off. We're going to go through all the commons each pack every week. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much again to Brad for sending me the box to open to keep the channel going. I really appreciate it. I hope you're all staying safe out there. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend. And as always, may your pulls ever be better.